Now, a couple arrested for the gruesome murder of 2 Soweto children are in court this morning. The 50-year-old woman and 39-year-old man were arrested on Tuesday. The mutilated bodies of the children were found dumped in 2 separate areas, one in Rockville and the other in White City. Manqoba Mchunu is at the Protea Magistrates Court for us this morning, joining us live as well. I think you're going to be going to court later, I think, Manqoba, because I'm sure at the moment what looks like behind you is going to be the funeral for these 2 little cousins later today.
Indeed, Gareth, and in fact we're expecting that funeral to get underway in about 30 minutes time from now. Of course, it's such a sad occasion. It's one of the murders that has sent shockwaves throughout this community, and many of the community members going there with a heavy heart this morning, given that it's 2 of the youngest members of this community that were brutally killed in that incident. And of course, Gareth, many of the community members have been quite outspoken. They've been quite vocal about the brutality surrounding this incident, condemning what has happened here. And of course, you recall that it also sparked fears among community members that perhaps there was a serial killer, or it was multi-related killings that had taken place in this community. I think we saw quite a number of community members over the days leading to the funeral, coming out in prayer and really asking themselves how this incident had occurred, and wanting the police to really speed up the investigations and to find that those are behind this. Of course, Gareth, you know that it comes at a time when the 2 suspects are also expected to appear in court later today, and one of those that is going to be appearing in court is a relative, a close family member of one of the boys. And we understand that she was arrested on Sunday after she was found, or in fact earlier this week, after she was found in possession of some of the items or clothing, pieces of clothing that were told had blood stains. And this is what led police to make that particular arrest. But we know that this family member had been questioned on numerous occasions. She was taken for questioning over the weekend by police. So there was some suspicion that perhaps this is one of the people of interest that police were going to be looking into. But of course, the families, they're still quite devastated. They're shocked, Gareth. It's still hard to process this for many of them, especially the family of the young boy that this close relative was arrested. Yesterday we even saw scuffles ensuing among the family members because of the accusations and the allegations between the father's side and the mother's side, and that just tells you how much this issue has torn this family apart. But I want to bring in one of the family members just to get a sense, of course, of today, the expectations, as well as the court that's going to be sitting today. Mama, thank you very much. I know that you're one of the grandmothers of the children. In fact, Manqoba, nizizwa kanjani namhlanje? I'm sure ukuthi njoba niyobeka abantwana nje babeka ngenhliziyo ezibhlungu, kodwa ke kukhona nokuthi mhlambe ke kukhona ukuncane nje ukuba nenjabulo ukuthi abantu baboshiwe.
Khona ngijabulile kakhulu ukuthi uboshiwe bamtholile umuntu obulale uNqobizitha, kodwa sisasebhlungwini, sanombuzo ukuthi why, wenzeni? Sifuna ukubuza nje lokho kuphela ngoba sisasebhlungwini kamampela, isilonde singeke siphinde siphole kithi angakasitshela ukuthi why, umenzeni uNqobile.
Okay, the granny is saying that, Gareth, they're still in pain. They are relieved that, as they go to this funeral, the alleged killers are already behind bars, but they still have questions. What did the children do? Why did she have to kill them in this way? And this is what they still want to know, as, of course, they're going to be burying their loved one. The question, why did they do this? Mamsi Party, njoba ke bezovela enkantolo mhlambe ke yini enilindele nina njengomndeni?
Hey, besicela inkantolo ithatha umthetho, because asesizwile labantu, sesizwile lento le bengiyazela kude, maye seyifike kimi ke maye ila ibhlungu khona ke, hayi inkantolo ayithathe umthetho, imbophe angazi noma ngathatha ikhizi lahlelele kude, because akusumuntu emphakathini lo muntu ewumama futhi akusumuntu. Hey, hayi
All right. Sipati is saying that they want the court to take its role, they want the law to take its course, saying that she would want, to see, her being jailed for a long time for what she has done to the children. She wants to ensure that the family does receive justice when this court case resumes. Mama Sipati, kuniphathe kanjani nje ukuthi nithola ukuthi lo muntu lo yilunga lomndeni, umuntu ebeni naye, umuntu obekhala nani uma nifuna labantwana ngesikhathi betholakala, ubekhona nakhona lapha kwisini emele imndeni?
Kubuhlungu kakhulu ngoba lo muntu bengihamba naye noma siya kuma undertaker bengihamba naye sikhala sonke sisho ukuthi lo muntu obulala ingane fanele atholakale fanele abulawe. I was shocked ukuthi uye, I was shocked ngoba i relative yakhe umntwana kaNqoba izitha i relative yakhe. So angazi ukuthi bekwenze njani, angazi ayangazi yazi anginamagama engawashanga anginawo. So bengifuna kumbona namhlanje bengitshela ukuthi ngizoye ecourt ngimbone ngimbuze ngicela image ngimbuze ukuthi ebekhala kanjani uNqobile bethini bekhala ngomama akho bekhala ngogogo bekathini because uNqobile vele uyigwala nje mawuphethe ibhandi uyakhala so ebekhala ethini umntwana.
All right, Sipati explaining that, they're quite hurt and saddened by this. I'll let her go because the undertakers are here now, in fact, to go and collect the family ahead of the funeral. I'm going to ask my colleague Linga just to show you. But what Sipati is saying is that, she's quite saddened, because this is the very woman that they went to with at the mortuaries, when they had to identify the children, when the searches were being done. And she was one of the people that was quite vocal, saying that you want to see those that are, being arrested for this to be, killed, even, and she's quite devastated because she just doesn't understand how she could be involved. She wants to know what was Nqoba Izitha saying. And in fact, this is the coffin of Nqoba Izitha Zulu that you're seeing there in that hearse arriving at the family home. And Sipati saying that you want to know from this woman why did she kill these boys in such a brutal way? What was the little boy saying at the time when she was committing this crime? Because he was scared even of being scolded or being, beaten by the parents as punishment. He would just cry when he sees the sight of a belt. And so he really doesn't understand. She doesn't understand, what went on at the time and what was Nqoba Izitha saying at the time when all of this was happening. Of course, the funeral, Gareth, expected to take place earlier on. It is a joint funeral where we will see both the two cousins are being laid to rest. As you can see there, the family members, of course, it starts here. The ceremony will start here at home where some of the rituals will be carried out. And of course, we're then going to proceed to the stadium here where this particular event is going to be held. But of course, as you can see, the family members are quite heartbroken. I also spoke to the mother of the child last week, just telling me, that she's still in disbelief about what happened to her child. She also wants answers as far as what has happened here is concerned. The mother there, just standing next to the hearse, Nomthandazo Zulu, she spoke to us saying that, she wants to see justice for her child. She wants answers because many of these families are still not getting the answers as far as what happened here is concerned. Well, Gareth, we're also expecting the hearse carrying the body of Nqoba Izitha's cousin, Tsiamo Rabanye, to also make its way to the stadium shortly.
It's difficult to, I think, try and explain the grief that this family is going through as they open up the back of the hearse as well. And Manqoba, I'm not sure if maybe as I asked the question, you might want to step away from the family because there is this belief and understanding that the occult unit of the SAPS having to get involved as well. So not just the terrible, tragic double murder as we see the one coffin coming out the back of the hearse, but we understand the occult unit having to get involved as well. I'm not sure if you need to maybe step away from the family to talk about this part, but that's something being reported as well.
Indeed, Gareth, and in fact, we know for sure that the occult unit has been roped into this investigation. In fact, they are investigating this very question, whether or not this was a ritualistic killing, whether or not this was a multi-killing. The reason why this has been one of the issues that has been suspected, Gareth, is because of the injuries that the boys had suffered, the way in which this crime had happened at the time. These were boys that were found, with their body parts mutilated. And when you look at these crime scenes, they are similar in terms of the injuries that the two cousins had suffered. Some of their limbs had been missing. Maybe the details could be a bit graphic, Gareth, but we're talking of some of the facial organs that had been cut off. And it appears that they were similar facial organs that were cut off. We're talking about some of the private part organs that were cut off, and also just in terms of the way that it all happened. The boys were strangled. There were multiple stab wounds, and so there were suspicions, Gareth, that this perhaps could be multi-related. And this is one of the issues that, of course, we also spoke to when we spoke to traditional healers that attended this. They were quite adamant, Gareth, that this has the hallmarks of multi-killings. Even the occult specialists that we spoke to saying, Gareth, that according to the information and the way this has happened, it all has indications that this could possibly be ritualistic killing. So this is one of the things that we know that police are going to be looking into, and of course as part of their investigation, what really happened here. But what we do know, Gareth, is that this particular relative was found with items of clothing, her own items of clothing that had blood stains at the time, and I think police will be using that to ensure that they link them to this murder. But they're certain that they have the right people, and of course the families are still baffled. They too believe that this is ritualistic killings, but the shock, of course, is that this is one of their own. As you can see, some rituals there being carried out, Gareth. These are rituals that the family will have to do before they go to that funeral. And right now we're expecting them to make their way to the stadium, Jabavu Stadium, where this is going to take place. Of course, we're just paying their last respects here at the family home before the children then go to the funeral procession. This was for family members just to pay their last respects, Gareth, to ensure that they get some sort of closure. But it's still a long way to closure, given that these suspects are going to be appearing in court here this morning. And of course, the families will also be looking at the court just to try and find some answers.
Manqoba Mchunu, thank you very much indeed. Something a family and a parent should never ever have to go through is the burial of their own children as well. But today they will say goodbye to Mobazita Zulu and Tiamo Rabanya this morning in Soweto. We'll go back to our reporter again a little bit later. 15 after 8. I'm a little bit late on traffic. I'm sure you'll forgive me, of course, as we were watching what was going through the family, the emotions they were going through out in Soweto.